Chapter 7, page 75. Part 2 reading. Anger around the world. Attitudes about expressing anger vary from culture to culture. In some cultures, almost any sign of anger is inappropriate. In others, people use anger as a way of extending relationships. The differences in attitudes about anger can cause a lot of cross-cultural miscommunication. For example, anthropologist Jean Briggs spent 17 months as the adopted daughter of an Utku Eskimo family. During this time, she discovered if she expressed anger in a way that was appropriate in the United States, the Eskimos thought that she was childish. As a result, she learned not to show her anger. The Utku are just one example of a culture that dislikes signs of anger. Finnish people also believe that expressions of anger show a lack of self-control. This attitude can make them seem very peaceful. For example, road rage is a problem in many countries, but not in Finland. There, experts say, a car accident doesn't make people angry. The drivers politely exchange information and then go on. And no one complains when a bus breaks down. The passengers simply get off and wait for the next one. Such behavior would not happen in the United States, where expressing anger is accepted, even expected. The problem occurs when people from cultures where anger is acceptable visit countries where it is not. For example, if an American visiting England complained in a tone of voice that would be effective at home, no one would pay attention. They would see him as just another impolite American. This is because the English usually avoid showing anger unless the situation is extremely serious. Avoidance of public anger is also common in China and Japan. In both of these cultures, the expression of anger is unacceptable and destructive. This attitude is very different from the one in the United States, where many people believe that not expressing anger can lead to depression, alcoholism, drug addiction, or even violence. In countries that don't express anger, most people would think this idea was ridiculous or even dangerous. However, in some other cultures, anger is more lightly received and forgotten than in the United States. Americans traveling in the Middle East or some Mediterranean countries are often surprised by the amount of anger they see and hear. They do not realize that people in these countries express their anger and then forget it. Even the people who are on the receiving end of the anger usually do not remember it for long. In fact, in these cultures, fierce arguments and confrontation can be positive signs of friendliness and engagement. Here again is a good deal of opportunity for Chapter 7, page 75. Part 2 reading. Anger around the world. Attitudes about expressing anger vary from culture to culture. In some cultures, almost any sign of anger is inappropriate. In others, people use anger as a way of extending relationships. The differences in attitudes about anger can cause a lot of cross-cultural miscommunication. For example, anthropologist Jean Briggs spent 17 months as the adopted daughter of an Utku Eskimo family.